day in the life, a day in the life of a raindrop. Welcome and good evening. Settle in, find the softest, stillest place you can, and let yourself sink down into it a little deeper than before. Close your eyes if they are not already closed. There is nothing left to do tonight, nothing to fix, nothing to finish, nothing to remember. The day is behind you now, folded away and quiet, and the night is yours. Let your breath begin to slow, all on its own, in and out, like a slow tide, reaching the shore and drawing back again. You do not need to guide it. You do not need to hold it, or count it, or make it into anything. Just let it move, soft and unhurried, the way water moves when no one is watching. Before we travel anywhere at all, let us take a little time, right here, simply to arrive, to grow heavy, to settle fully into this bed, into this room, into this soft and welcome dark. There is no need to rush towards sleep. It will come on its own, in its own time, the way rain comes when everything is ready. So for now, just let yourself be here. Bring your attention gently down to your feet. Notice them, and then let them go. Let them grow warm and loose and heavy, sinking down into the bed as though they were sinking into warm sand. There is nothing they need to do now. Let that soft heaviness begin to rise, slowly, up through your ankles and your shins and your knees, until your legs grow heavy too, and still, settling down like smooth stones, drifting to rest on the bed of a slow, clear river. Let it keep rising. Let your hips and your back grow heavy and sink. Let your belly soften with each slow breath. Let your hands lie open and still, and let the warmth flow up through your arms into your shoulders, and feel your shoulders drop at last away from your ears, down and down, setting the whole long day gently on the ground. And let it reach softly into your face. Let your jaw loosen and part just a little. Let your cheeks grow soft. Let the space between your eyebrows grow smooth and wide and calm. Let your eyes rest heavy and still in the dark behind your closed lids. There is nothing left to hold, nothing to carry, nothing to keep. You may set all of it down now, gently, and leave it there on the shore. Take one slow breath all the way down and let it go with a soft sigh, and feel yourself grow a little heavier still, and one more, slow and deep, and let it go. And now let your breath find its own quiet rhythm and forget about it completely. You are ready now. Now, softly, we can begin to drift. Tonight, we are going to follow a single raindrop, one small drop of water out of all the countless, uncountable drops in the world. We will follow it on a long, slow journey up from the wide grey sea, high into the sky, across the whole sleeping world, and all the way home again. You do not need to follow closely. You do not need to understand anything, or picture anything perfectly, or hold on to a single word. If your mind wanders off the path, that is perfectly all right. If you drift away long before our little drop finds its way home, then that is the most welcome ending of all. Let the words be like soft rain on a window pane. Let them blur and run together and carry you somewhere quieter than here. So, let us begin, and let us begin far out at sea, in the last blue hour before dark, where the water is old and deep and endlessly patient. Imagine the ocean at evening, not a storm, not even waves really, just a slow breathing swell that lifts and settles all the way to the horizon. The sky above it is the colour of a dove's wing, soft grey fading into rose, and the sea beneath holds all of that colour and turns it darker and gentler and deep. Our drop is here, somewhere in all of that water, near the surface, warmed by a whole long day of sun. It has no shape yet, not really. It is simply part of the sea, the way a single note is part of a long, low song. It has been here for a while, weeks perhaps, perhaps longer. Time moves differently for water. It is in no hurry at all, and neither tonight are you. The last of the sun's warmth rests on the surface of the sea, and something very quiet begins to happen. Something that happens everywhere, all the time, without a sound. The warmth loosens the water. It coaxes it, ever so gently, to rise. And our drop, warmed and light and ready, begins to lift, not as a drop any longer, but as something finer than mist, something you could never see. It simply leaves the sea and floats up into the evening air. This is the beginning of the long climb, the rising, water becoming air, without a splash, without a sound, without any effort at all. If you have ever seen steam drift up from a warm cup, or seen a puddle grow smaller in the sun, and wondered where it went, this is where it went. Up, quietly up, into the wide and waiting sky. Let yourself rise with it if you like. Not up out of your bed, of course. Stay exactly where you are, warm and heavy and still. But let the light, floating part of you drift upward with the drop, the way you drift at the very edge of sleep, when the body grows heavy and the mind grows light and begins softly to lift. Up we go, up past the surface of the sea, which shrinks away below into a wide sheet of hammered silver, up through the warm lower air, where gulls turn in slow circles, folding their wings, settling for the night, up past the height where the last birds fly. There is no effort in this rising, no climbing, no striving. The drop is simply carried the way a leaf is carried on a slow river, the way you are carried right now on the slow tide of your own breath. There is a great hush up here in the high and open air. The busy sounds of the world grow thin and faint and fall away below, until there is nothing left but a soft, wide silence, and the cool, clean air, and the slow, endless glow of the evening sky, stretching away on every side. It is the kind of silence you can lie down inside, the kind of silence that has been waiting for you, quietly, all through the long and noisy day. Let it settle over you now, soft as a blanket of new snow, deep as still water, quiet as the small space between one breath and the next. Below, the sea has become a wide sheet of dark and hammered silver, so far down now that its slow waves do not seem to move at all. Above, the first faint stars are beginning to open in the deepening blue. One, and then another, and then more than you could ever hope to count, scattered across the dark like grains of silver sand. And our little drop drifts up between the resting sea and the waking stars, cool and light and free, carried ever so gently higher on the quiet air. The higher the drop rises, the cooler the air becomes. And this is important in the gentle way that everything tonight is gentle, because as the air grows cooler, the drop begins to change again. Out here, high above the darkening sea, it is no longer warm enough to stay as invisible vapour. And so, very slowly, the vapour begins to gather itself back together, to draw close, to become water once more. It does not do this alone. All around it, in the cooling air, millions upon millions of other tiny specks of water are doing the very same thing, rising, cooling, gathering, and they begin, softly, to find one another, to drift together, to collect around the smallest motes of dust, so small you could never see them, each one a tiny invisible heart, for a tiny new droplet to form around. And as more and more of them gather, something begins to appear in the sky where a moment ago there was nothing at all. Something pale and soft and slow, a cloud. Our drop has become one small part of a cloud. Rest here a moment, inside the cloud, with the drop. There is nothing to see exactly, and nothing to do. It is soft here, and cool and dim, like the inside of a great slow feather. All around, countless droplets hang in the hush, holding still, holding their breath, drifting so slowly that it does not feel like moving at all. It feels like floating. It feels like being held. You are held, too, by the bed beneath you, by the quiet of the room, by the dark, which asks nothing of you now. Let your shoulders grow heavy, let your hands grow heavy, let the whole weight of the day settle down, and leave you light and drifting, like a drop inside a cloud. The cloud begins to travel, high above the world, caught on a slow river of wind you cannot see. It drifts inland, away from the darkening sea, over the coast and out across the sleeping land. It is in no hurry. Clouds are never in a hurry. They drift the way thoughts drift at the edge of sleep, arriving from nowhere, dissolving into nowhere, carrying you softly along. Below, if the drop could look down, the whole evening world would be laid out beneath it, going quiet for the night. Let us look down together, slowly, and see it. There is the coastline, far below, a long pale ribbon of sand, where the sea leaves its soft white edge and draws it back again, over and over, endlessly patient. The lights of a small harbour town are beginning to come on, one by one, warm and gold and small, like embers. The little boats rock at their moorings. The nets are hung up to dry. The day's work is done down there, too. Further inland now. There are fields below, wide and dim, stitched together with dark hedges and old stone walls. A tractor stands still and silent at the edge of one, its work finished. In the fields, sheep have folded their legs beneath them and gone still, pale shapes settling into the grass. Somewhere a single light glows in a farmhouse window, and then softly it goes out. The land is going to sleep, field by field, hedge by hedge, and the cloud drifts over all of it, patient and slow. Let us drift on, over a dark forest now, a great gathering of trees, standing shoulder to shoulder in the growing night. Their tops move very gently in the same wind that carries the cloud, a soft grey sea of leaves, whispering, settling. Deep beneath the branches, the small creatures of the wood are curling into hollows and burrows, tucking their noses beneath their paws, breathing slow. The owls are waking, soft and silent, but even they seem unhurried tonight. Everything below is winding down toward rest. The cloud drifts on, and below it now there is water again, a great still lake, cupped among the hills, holding the whole darkening sky upon its surface like a mirror laid flat upon the land. Not a single ripple crosses it. The last of the light and the first of the stars rest together on that perfect stillness, and the cloud drifts slowly across it, and its own soft grey reflection drifts across it too, far below, silent and unhurried and calm, everything doubled, everything quiet, everything at peace. Beyond the lake the land begins to rise again, and far ahead, on the very edge of the world, there are mountains, Great old mountains, their shoulders soft with distance, their high peaks pale with snow, even now, even in the warm season, catching the very last of the light and holding it long after the valleys below have filled with blue shadow and gone to sleep. The cloud drifts toward them slowly, in no hurry, the way the whole night is in no hurry, the way you are in no hurry now. And below, between the lake and the mountains, there are small quiet places going quietly to their rest. A village tucked into a fold of the hills, its rooftops dark, its one narrow street empty, a single lamp glowing gold at a crossroads with no one there to pass beneath it, a meadow where the tall grass has grown still, and a low white mist is rising to pool in the hollows, soft as breath, soft as sleep itself, a winding country lane, pale in the dusk, climbing gently over a rise and out of sight. All of it hushed, all of it waiting, all of it letting go of the day, the way you are letting go now. And still the cloud grows. All this while, more and more water has been rising from the world below and gathering into it, and our drop has been merging quietly with other drops and growing. It is heavier now than it was, rounder, more itself. It has drifted and cooled and gathered until it is no longer a speck, no longer a mote, but very nearly almost a raindrop. The cloud has changed, too. It is deeper now and darker underneath, the soft pale feather grown thick and grey and full. It has drifted over rising ground, over the long slow shoulders of the hills, and as the land lifts, the cloud is nudged gently higher and cooler and heavier still. It is full of water now, brimming with it, holding as much as a cloud can hold, and our drop, grown round and heavy at the very heart of it, can no longer float. It has become too large and too full and too ready. The air can no longer hold it up, and so, at last, gently, without alarm, it begins to fall. This is the moment the whole long climb was quietly leading to, the falling. But do not think of falling as something sudden or frightening. Out here, high above the hills, it is the softest thing in the world. The drop simply lets go of the cloud, the way you are letting go of the day, and begins its slow sighing descent back toward the earth. Down it comes, out of the base of the cloud, into the clear, cool air below. And it is not alone. All around it, countless other drops are letting go at the very same moment and beginning to fall, so that the whole underside of the cloud softens and blurs into a grey veil of rain, drifting down over the dark hills like a slow silver curtain drawn across the evening. And every drop that falls will find its own way home, by its own gentle path. Some of them fall on the high slopes of the mountains, where the air is cold, and there they do not fall as rain at all, but drift down as snow, slow and silent and soft, to settle on the peaks in deep white silence for a whole long season before they melt and stir and begin to move once more. Some fall straight back into the wide sea and are home again in a single moment. Some fall into the still lake and rest there quietly, held in that perfect stillness, in no hurry to go anywhere at all. There is no single way home, there is no wrong way, and no need to hurry, and no need to arrive before you are ready. Every drop is carried, in the end, exactly where it needs to go. Listen, if you have ever lain warm in your bed and heard rain begin outside, soft against the roof, soft against the glass, you know this sound, that gentle hush, that endless patient patter, with no rhythm you could name, and yet somehow the most soothing rhythm there is. That is a whole cloud of drops, just like ours, coming home. Let that sound fill the room around you now, soft and grey and endless, and let it carry you down and down. Our drop falls slowly through the cool air, turning as it goes, catching the very last dim light of the day and holding it for a moment, a small round bead of silver drifting down out of the sky. It falls past the dark shapes of the hilltops. It falls through the tops of the trees, where the leaves lean out to catch the rain, each one shining wet, each one nodding gently under the soft weight of the drops. And at last, quietly, it lands. It lands on a single broad green leaf near the top of an old tree on the shoulder of a hill. And there it rests for a moment, just rests, gathering itself, a small clear drop on a wide dark leaf, trembling very slightly, catching the light. There is no hurry now. The long fall is over. The drop has come back to the world, and for one soft moment it simply stays. You can stay too. There is nowhere you need to be, nothing you need to do. You have come tonight exactly where you need to be, which is here, warm and still and safe, at the soft green edge of sleep. Rest here as long as you like. The drop will wait for you. It has all the time in the world. And all across the sleeping land, the other drops are landing too, each one coming softly home. Some land in a still green pond and send out one slow, perfect ring across the water, and then another, and then stillness once again. Some land on the dark rooftops of the sleeping town and gather in the quiet gutters and run down in soft silver threads to the waiting earth. And some perhaps land on a window pane, perhaps even a window like yours, running slowly down the cool dark glass, one gentle drop chasing another, blurring the far-off lights into soft round stars, tapping so lightly against the window that it is less a sound than a feeling, a soft and steady hush that says, without any words, rest now, you are safe and dry and warm. There is nothing out there in the dark but the gentle rain coming home. Rest now. But water always finds a way, onward, gently, and soon the drop grows heavy on the leaf and slides and slips from the leaf's low tip and falls again, just a little way, onto the leaf below, and from that leaf onto a lower branch, and from the branch it runs, thin and silver, down the deep grooves of the old tree's bark, tracing the long, slow lines of it, all the way down the trunk to the roots, and to the dark, soft, waiting earth. And here the drop does something new. It sinks in, it disappears into the ground, down among the roots and the stones and the deep, cool dark, where everything is quiet and close and still. Down here, the drop moves more slowly than it has moved all night. It seeps, it trickles, it finds the smallest hidden spaces between the grains of soil and slips through them, patient and unhurried, deeper and deeper into the sleeping hill. There is no light down here, and no need for any. There is no sound but the faint, close trickle of water finding its slow way through the dark, a sound softer than a whisper, the private, patient song that water sings only to itself, deep inside the earth. The drop is in no hurry at all. It has nowhere it needs to be. It moves the way the slow hand of a clock moves, so gently you could never catch it moving, and yet always, always onward, always softly down. Imagine that dark, close quiet, that gentle heaviness of the earth all around. It is not a frightening dark. It is the safe, deep dark of a burrow, of a den, of a warm cave, far from any wind, the dark of being tucked in on every side. The drop moves through it slowly, so slowly, drawn always gently downward and onward, and there is nothing to fear and nothing to do, and nowhere at all it needs to be but here. Deep inside the hill, the drop meets other water, water that seeped down long before it, gathering in the cool, dark places beneath the ground, filling the tiny spaces in the stone, moving in slow, hidden rivers no eye has ever seen. Our drop joins them, and together they move, silent and unhurried, through the deep heart of the hill, feeling their way gently downhill through the dark, the way you feel your way gently down into sleep. And at last, far away on the side of the hill, where the ground dips low and the stone gives way, the water finds a small opening, a hollow in the rock, mossy and green and soft. And out of it, quietly, the drop returns to the open air, gathering with others into a small clear pool, and then spilling from the pool in a thin bright thread, and beginning softly to run downhill. The drop has become a stream. Follow the little stream down through the dark. It is small at first, no wider than your hand, chattering softly to itself over the smooth round stones. It slips between the roots of the trees. It gathers in little pools and spills over their edges, in slender falls, no taller than a step. It winds and turns and doubles back, in no hurry at all, finding always the low and easy way, the gentle way, the way that water loves. As the stream runs on, other streams come down to meet it, sliding in quietly from either side, and with each one the water grows a little wider, and a little deeper, and a little slower, and a little more sure of where it is going. The busy chatter softens to a murmur, the murmur softens to a hush, and after a while the stream is a stream no longer. It has become a river, broad and calm and dark, moving through the sleeping valley with a deep and quiet strength. Rest now on the slow, wide river and let it carry you. There is nothing to hold on to, nothing to steer. The river knows the way, as it has always known the way, and it asks nothing of you but to lie back and be carried and drift. Feel how smooth it is, how unhurried, how endlessly, patiently sure. This is the deep and gentle current beneath all things, carrying you softly onward all the way to the sea. The river winds through the valley in great slow curves, taking its time, in no hurry to arrive. It passes beneath old stone bridges, dark and mossy and quiet. It slides past a sleeping town, where the windows are dark now, and the streets are empty and still, and the only sound is the soft, deep voice of the water moving on and on. It passes willow trees that lean far out over the water, trailing their long, soft branches in the current, and the drop drifts on beneath them, cool and calm and carried. The moon has risen now, round and pale and kind, and it lays a long, soft road of silver across the moving water, a shimmering path that travels along with the river, always just ahead, leading gently on. The drop carries a small fleck of that moonlight upon its back, a fragment of silver drifting slowly downstream through the dark. An old mill stands quiet at a bend in the river, its great wheel still, its windows dark, and the water slides past it smooth and unbroken and slow. Somewhere far off, an owl calls once, softly, and is answered, and then the deep quiet closes over everything again, and there is only the river and the moonlight and the slow, sure, patient movement toward the sea. There are creatures asleep along the river bank too. A heron stands on one leg in the shallows, its head tucked back into its feathers, perfectly still, a grey shadow among the reeds. Water voles are curled in their burrows in the soft mud of the bank. A pair of swans have folded their long necks down and gone to rest on a quiet backwater, two pale shapes on the dark water, breathing slow. Everything along the river is at peace, everything is at rest, and the river carries our drop gently past all of it, patient and slow, toward the sea. If you are still here with me, drifting on the slow dark water, that is good. And if you have already slipped away, downstream and into sleep, that is good too. You do not need to hear how the story ends. The river does not need you to be awake in order to carry you. It will carry you just the same, in your sleep, all the way home. So let go a little more now, sink a little deeper, grow a little heavier and warmer and stiller. There is nothing left for you to do but drift. The valley begins to open now, and to flatten and to widen out. The hills that once rose steep on either side sink lower and softer and fall away, and the sky above grows huge and dark and full of the first faint stars. The river spreads out, broad and shallow and calm, moving so slowly now that it hardly seems to move at all. And on the far edge of everything, where the land finally lets go, there is a low, soft, endless sound, the sound of the sea. The drop is nearly home. It has risen from the sea and drifted across the sky and fallen upon the hills and sunk into the earth and risen again and run down through the streams and the rivers and the long, slow valley. And now, at the very end of its journey, it comes at last to the wide mouth of the river, where the fresh water meets the salt and mingles and slows, and finally, gently, lets go. This wide and quiet place, where the river meets the sea, is one of the gentlest places in all the world. Here the fresh water and the salt water lean softly into one another, and slowly, without any struggle, they blend. The current loosens its hold at last. The long journey slows to a drift. Tall reeds stand still in the shallows, and wading birds sleep among them, each on one folded leg, and the wide flats shine like dark glass beneath the risen moon. The drop drifts out through all of it, without hurry, without effort, simply carried, simply letting go, out past the last low banks and into the wide open arms of the sea. And the drop returns to the sea. It slips out past the last low banks of mud and reed, out under the huge and starry dark, out into the great slow swell of the ocean, and it becomes once more simply part of the sea, part of the wide, dark, breathing water that has no edges and no end. The long journey is over. The drop is home. And here is the quietest and most beautiful thing of all. Nothing is lost. The drop has not ended. It has simply come home to rest and to wait. Because one day, perhaps not soon, but one day, the warmth will rest again on the surface of the sea and coax the water gently upward, and the drop will rise once more into the waiting sky and drift and fall and journey home all over again, on, patient and endless, with no hurry and no ending, and nothing ever truly lost, only carried, only changed, only home, and then away, and then home again. There is nothing you must carry either, nothing you must hold on to as you drift. Whatever you brought with you into this night, you may set it down now, gently, at the edge of the water, and let the slow tide take it and turn it and carry it softly away. It is not lost, it is only resting, it is only waiting, somewhere far out on the dark and patient sea, and you do not have to think of it again tonight. So let the drop rest, far out on the quiet ocean, rising and settling with the slow swell, warm and safe and home. And let yourself rest too, exactly where you are, warm and safe and home, sinking down and down into the soft dark, heavy as the deep sea, quiet as a cloud, still as a drop of water on a wide green leaf. There is nothing more to follow now, nothing more to picture, nothing more to do. The journey is finished, and the night is still yours, and it will hold you gently until morning. Let your breath move slow like a far-off tide. Let the last of your thoughts drift up and cool and gather and float away like mist into the dark. And let the soft, endless sound of the water carry you at last all the way down into sleep. And if any small thought should drift up now out of the quiet, do not chase it and do not push it away. Just let it rise and cool and gather and float off into the dark, like mist lifting off the water, the way our little drop once rose so gently from the sea. Let each thought go the way the whole day has gone, softly, completely home. There is only the breath now, slow as a far-off tide. There is only the warmth and the weight, and the soft and holding dark. There is only rest. Rest now. Rest. The sea is patient, and the night is long, and you have all the time in the world. Sleep well, sleep deeply, and drift gently, gently home. There is nothing more to do now, nothing more to follow, nothing more to be, only the warmth, only the weight, only the slow, soft tide of your own breath carrying you out and in and out again. The rain is falling somewhere, soft and gentle and endless. The river is flowing, dark and calm and sure, and the wide sea waits, patient as it has always been, holding you, rocking you, ever so slowly, down. Drift now, drift and rest, and let the gentle water carry you the rest of the way, down and down and down into sleep. Sleep now, sleep, sleep.